Alright, so all this shit is fake, by the way. Basically, 2 years ago, this was April 20th, 2022. Me and a good friend of mine, I won't name him for his sake, but he'll know who I'm talking about. We're just trying to, we're trying to do the Zaza for 420, right? And our plug had this special item that we wanted to get. It cost a lot of money, but it was worth it for the story. It was a 1 foot long joint. Basically, the plan was we'd get it from our plug. We would, smoke it and then sleep over. That's not exactly what happened. This is back, we were sophomores, so we weren't driving. So we had to bike everywhere, walk. So we went to our friend Alex's house while we were waiting. This guy was taking forever. By the way, this cost $120. So we split it 60-60. We're texting a plug back and forth. I remember it was really cold. And then I remember our guy was like, he'd be there soon or whatever. So my friend waited at his house while I went to Alex's house to kind of split up. And so I'm just chilling at his, and waiting. It's getting late. My mom texted me and she's like, when you gonna be home, this and that. And finally, after all this waiting, and we're freezing, it was a cold April day. Oh God, it was fucking freezing. I remember he told me, he's like, I got the package, let's go. So the plan was we were gonna meet up at our school, because that was kind of a midway point. Walk to my house, take a long way, and just light up, and then we're just gonna sleep over and just have a fun night. I get the joint. I mean, this thing's fucking massive. I never seen a joint like this ever since, and it's been 2.5 years. So yeah, we're walking. I mean, even just trying to hold it, you need 2 hands. You gotta hold it like that. And just lighting it was a process. You're really trying to set this thing on fire. And then I'm gonna be honest, bro, hitting that shit, it felt really weird because you gotta put your mouth you gotta not a good looking sight, to say the least. I remember I started hitting that shit, and we're kind of passing, we're trying to light it, we're trying not to have it break or whatever. We're walking, and my mom calls me. She's like, get your ass home. I'm like, don't worry, my friend's sister, she's driving us home. She's like, okay. And so I'm like, all right, yo, we gotta hurry. So we keep walking, and we're trying to go through this big ass joint. It's starting to hit at first. I'm also thinking to myself, we're not finishing this. And my mom called me again. She's like, I know your ass ain't getting driven home. I'm coming to pick you up. I'm like, no. Because now it's midnight. So she wanted me home. Bro, we threw the joint in someone's yard. And we barely did this thing. We probably got through 5% of it. And I take off my hoodie, and I take off my shirt, and I got my Gatorade. I'm pouring that shit on my head. I'm trying to get the stink out any way I can, because at the time, my mama didn't know that I was doing that stuff, and I knew she wasn't a fan of it either. So, me and my friend were fucking pouring Gatorade on our heads, and we're trying to figure out what to do or whatever, just flapping our clothes in the air. And eventually my mom comes, and I get in the car, and she's like, it did not take long. It really did not take long. She's like, do I smell weed? I was like, no. I smell weed. I was like, oh shit. So then it was a silent car ride. We get to my house. Only 4 or 5 minute drive. And then she called my dad. And he comes down, and she's like, did they smell like weed? My dad's like, yeah. Like, I knew it. And like, so she dropped off my friend at his house because she was like pissed. Took me back home. Didn't know what to do with me. And then it was just me and my dad because she went upstairs. And I told them, I'm like, this is the first time I ever did it. But my dad's like, you hungry? You thirsty? And I thought he was trying to like catch me or something. Again, like I was so confused. I'm like, no, I'm good. And like, he kept asking, he's like, you hungry? I'm like, sure. She's like, you want an apple? I'm like, sure. Cuts me an apple, and he's like not mad. And I was like so confused. I'm like, how is mom like blowing up on me and then you're not doing anything? And so we're just talking. He's like, oh yeah. He's like, I don't want you doing it, but he's like, I don't really, mind too much. So then we were just like talking, and then I remember like my cat even, like she was like sniffing the air, like she smelled the weed too. Although that was a shitty day, my dad and I, we became a lot closer since. So from April 20th until graduation, or not graduation, but until when school ended, I couldn't like sleep over anyone's house, and like I couldn't be staying out like too late. But yeah, that's really the story. Moral of the story is, if you got a 1 foot long joint, plan it out a bit better with how you're gonna smoke it, and get a torch because a regular lighter sucks. All right, that's it.